dumb, the cocky, and the professionals. Sparring. Are you ready to watch some very pleasing, sometimes brutal, and entertaining sparring footage? Sparring is a key element in shaping one to be a great fighter. Hitting the bag is great, but the bag doesn't hit back. Regardless, I've lost a few rounds to the bag, but I'm not a professional fighter. Here, we'll look into fighters in sparring either giving it a bit too much effort or being too lackadaisical while working. Here's when sparring turned into battle. TJ Dillashaw steps out of his element. The beauty of MMA is that it's a bunch of athletes who are jacks of all trades and, for the most part, masters of none. MMA fighters have to refine so many skills, it's nearly impossible for them to be the top percentile of more than one martial art. We do see some purists enter the sport and learn the other aspects well, like Damian Maia, but still, he wasn't the toughest puzzle to solve. Point is, MMA fighters need to focus on training everything as opposed to mastering one thing. So when we see TJ Dillashaw sparring Vasyl Lomachenko, it's like putting a super good multi-purpose pocket knife versus a samurai sword. TJ is one of the best and most dynamic strikers in MMA history, but when going toe-to-toe with Lomachenko, who was maybe going 20%, we saw that there are indeed levels to striking. While Dillashaw would outclass Loma in different aspects in fighting, we can clearly see that there's a huge deficit in boxing when looking at MMA's best and boxing's bests. Anderson Silva going for the kill. Anderson Silva is maybe one of the nicest dudes to ever wear any sort of gloves, let alone MMA gloves. But hey, a training camp can get the best of anyone. In this video, we see Silva almost treating this sparring session like it's his actual fight. The Spider is doing multiple rounds of sparring, but each round is a new training partner.
Spider leva mais soco, de outro foge.
This makes sure that he's constantly working and not slowing down with his sparring partners. The third try is a charm for Anderson here, though his goal wasn't, or shouldn't be, to beat his teammates senseless, but he had his most success here. Anderson taunted his opponent and then delivered a piercing left hand. This shot had his partner backpedaling, and his error was that he went back in a straight line. Silva then threw a knee up the middle and dropped that poor sparring partner. That should have been it, but Silva continued to land some ground and pound on his opponent. Sorry, I meant teammate. It's hard to tell the difference here though. Was this too hard of sparring? Or am I just being a baby? Let me know if I'm right, or go ahead and insult me in the comments. A new Silva, a new sparring war. Hey Wanderlei Silva, we have to ask you what your least favorite kick is. Judging by the evidence seen here, it seems that Silva isn't a fan of the axe kick. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the kick either, but I've never had to be on the receiving end of one, so perhaps we should watch Silva's reaction rather than listening to me ramble. Once Silva's sparring partner threw this kick, he went from insane to brawling mode. Regardless of everyone else in the room, Silva pressed forward, as he does, and slugged it out with this dude. Wanderlei ended up on top and absolutely punished this guy for this. You could say he gave him an axe whooping. Did Wanderlei overreact? Let us know what you think down below. Sparring gone wrong. Okay, I'll be honest. I'm not sure who any of these guys are. We'll call them Bandana Man and the non-bandana wearing guy. We can call him knockoff Bo Burnham. These two dudes are obviously very new to fighting. Discount Bo Burnham has the length advantage, so he's using his kicks and taking advantage of his ability to hit the body from range. However, Dr. Bandana throws a kick and a right hook behind it, which lands about as well as any trike has landed in this room. The two then begin trying to destroy one another with kicks, but accidentally destroy a tripod in the process. The hit to this tripod was the most significant of the video. The two break, and then Kroger brand Bo throws a bit of a cheap shot. However, his opponent has a chin of iron and a bandana knot tied from the gods themselves. The two continue despite this blatant foul from the guy that appears to have every advantage on his side anyway. Our man with the bandana keeps popping out jabs and making the worst mistake imaginable while doing so, which is to bring his hands down to his waist instead of right back to his chin. But hey, you do you, man. As the sparring goes on, the two just abandon technique and slug it out. Heck, I just realized that this guy was wearing a beanie, which isn't typical sparring garb. Aw, nuts. An alleged low blow puts a stop to the street fight under the guise of a training session, though I'm not exactly seeing a low blow in this exchange. But hey, he can afford to have this poor of technique when sparring a guy who can match his level of poor technique. Sparring with a bully mentality. So this is just kind of funny. The technique is there from both athletes, but Blue Shirt was feeling all sorts of sassy that day. As the two clinched up momentarily, Blue Shirt did some weird arm drag variation thingy and took a sparring partner to the mat. He then framed on his head to keep him down, which is perhaps the funniest jerk move I've seen in sparring. His partner got up and tried to hit him with a left hook that started swinging from a whole different area code, so it wasn't too hard to see it coming. Blue Shirt sends his opponent back to the mat and gives him one more face push for the road. What's the jerk to funny ratio here? Let us know what you think down below. Since it's my birthday, sometime this year, why don't you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button? This channel loves the heck out of the support from everyone that watches these videos. Let us know what you'd like to see next, or what you're craving to see more of. Back to the action. This dude learns that 10th Planet BJJ is out of this world. What do you get when you put a street fighter that wants to break knuckles against a 10th Planet BJJ black belt? You get an entertaining back and forth battle of the ages. Totally kidding. You get to see a grown man get treated like a toddler by some dude giving about 10% effort. The black belt in this video is named Chai Surasute. For those that aren't familiar, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu is a no-gi gym that has a very unique and effective system that strays from traditional BJJ. The challenger must not have believed in jiu-jitsu, or he just really believes in his street fighting skills, because at first he was asking questions like he was actually going to have a chance to break some knuckles. Chai gave him the green light to try whatever he wanted because he knew it wouldn't make a difference whatsoever. Chai immediately takes this street fighter down and put him in a north-south choke. You could say that he got his comp ass kicked. They go again, and another half-hearted double leg puts the challenger on his back. Like a hot knife through hotter butter, Chai passed this dude's guard very smoothly. The challenger rolls over and exposes his back, and Chai hopped on there for a free piggyback ride. This struggle cuddle resulted in a rear naked choke, but you guessed it, the dude that actually knows how to fight. Our challenger's in good spirits though. He seemed to be having fun whilst being humbled, which isn't the typical response. As they're squaring up to go again, the street fighter says what I say anytime I roll with a higher belt. I give up. Shocking results here, huh? Saenchai accidentally sleeps his sparring partner. Muay Thai GOAT? Arguably, one of the nicest dudes ever? He's in the conversation. A dangerous man, even on accident? Yeah, absolutely. Hotel? Trivago? Sorry, that meme has run its course. Speaking of dudes that haven't run their course though, we have Saenchai. He's 42 years old and still actively competing in Muay Thai. He's on a 68 fight winning streak, I believe. It's hard to count that high. And he's one win away from an even nicer streak. He actively hosts seminars and is willing to spar with anyone that wants to learn from him. Saenchai is known for his creative striking, and one of his signature moves is the cartwheel kick. He often throws this as a counter for when he catches a kick. Want to see an example? Saenchai catches a kick and lets the cartwheel technique rip. He accidentally lands this too smoothly though, and knocks his training partner out. So, training partner, the bad news is that you got knocked out. The good news, you got knocked out by an MMA legend, and that may be worth more than a signature on a shirt, although I'd opt for the signature. Sparring gone wrong. Nothing like sparring gone wrong in a setting that was poorly planned. Sparring is great and should be done lightly, but things happen. So to mitigate any risk of excessive damage, how about we don't spar on hardwood floors? It's like putting a baseball field next to a mirror store. Blue Glove seems to have pretty good technique, but he got caught with a two-piece that rattled his brain and sent him falling hard into the surface, which is again very poorly thought out. Sean Strickland throwing kicks for a change. Rumor has it that Sean Strickland doesn't throw many kicks, not out of his lack of ability, but because, well, he's scared of it being too deadly. Kidding. He just has a really nice jab. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Strickland throws a head kick while sparring and it lands perfectly. I mean, not perfect like we wanted the dude to get knocked out, but it landed perfectly enough to knock him out, seemingly with little effort. You know what I meant. This is just how Sean trains though. Would you train with Sean? Me neither. Dude's scary. McGregor kicks the will to fight out of a partner. Have any of you been kicked in the body? It's easily the most painful thing in striking, minus broken bones or tearing things, or toe stubbing on the way to the cage. That sucks. McGregor kicks his partner in the body, not too hard, but it was perfectly placed, and our man needed to take a seat to catch his breath and perhaps reevaluate things. Uriah Hall can also kick his partners in the body. Much like the previously listed McGregor kick, Uriah Hall can throw spinning stuff too. In fact, he's well known for it. This kick was a bit more malicious, especially given that this guy caught Hall with a beautiful head kick a bit earlier on. But hey, that's sparring, I guess. Whoever said size matters? Does size matter? I sure hope not. That's my own issue though. Here we see some proof that size doesn't matter. Per the original post, the challenger here is a 250-pound football player. He challenged a BJJ black belt, which is always a great idea. They don't teach takedown defense in football, I don't think. The challenger gets tripped and is mounted very easily. It looks like the black belt was setting up an Ezekiel choke, but the football guy tapped to pressure. Been there, dude. Been there. The coach stays on top, though, and ends up forcing the challenger to give up his back. A rear naked choke is locked in, and the football player seems to be adequately humbled. Do you think he pulled out a judo toss at his next football game?
That's Tony. That's Tony.
Taekwondo black belts versus MMA fighter. Like we said at the beginning of the video, MMA fighters are very versatile, but are rarely a master in any facet of fighting. Taekwondo black belts are pretty good at kicking, really good at it actually. Probably better than most low-level MMA fighters. We see an MMA fighter named Chen Gang taking on his first Taekwondo black belt here. The Taekwondo guy is doing well and for some reason even goes for a takedown early on. Things don't look great for him very long though. The MMA fighter has a clear advantage in the boxing department and lets the hands fly. He starts ripping shots to the body and sits the Taekwondo guy down. Taekwondo guy two takes on the same MMA fighter.
Ow, 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 ow. Ooh, that was a knee. That's it. That's it.
And we're not sure if you noticed, but he's much larger. Chen Gang plays it safe on the outside until he sees the opportunity to take the big guy down. The big guy tries to lock in a guillotine choke, but there was nothing doing there. Eventually, the MMA fighter breaks out and tries to get a more advantageous position, but the big guy works his way back up to his feet. The MMA guy does get another takedown and works his way to side control, where he drops multiple elbows and forces the big guy to quit.
Big guy dropping some elbows. Woo! That does not look.
That does it for this video. Which was your favorite entry? Do you want to see more videos like this? Let us know down below. Don't forget to drop a like on the video if, you like the video. Makes sense, right? Hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to make sure you never miss an upload. Until next time.